Hello. Hi. I see somebody is here. Say hi in the chat. I see a couple of you. It just says that there's 2. It doesn't say who is here. So if you guys want to, if you wouldn't mind saying hi in the chat, that would be great. We'll start soon. Tani! Oh, it's so nice for you to be here with me. I love technology because I'm getting to see all my old students and peeps. Yay! Trisha, are you here? Tani, we're just waiting on Trisha. Oh. Okay. All right, Tani, I'm going to turn on my chat here on my phone so that I can see you, or I can see if you write anything in the chat box. Trisha's actually not coming this week. She's coming next week. So we can go ahead and get started. And then just let me know if it sounds like an echo or if it sounds okay. And Tani, it's just you and me today. So do you have any requests for practice? Anything that you need? A little bit of an echo. Okay. I'll keep stretches for the shoulder and deep hip openers. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to turn this off now. So as we practice, it won't be an echo. So I'll see you soon. I'll come up to the chat box at the end and we can have a little chat. Okay, thanks for being here. All right. So hey, Tani, I'm so glad that you're here. I am really excited that I could create a private, secure live stream. I've had some issues with some interesting characters coming into the YouTube live stream. So I'm happy that we have a safe, sacred, and held container for us. So shoulder stretches and deep hip openers, that sounds good. As with any class that I'm leading or offering, the breath is the most important part of the practice for me. And because I think that it helps us to be present in the moment, but it also can help us to shift energy and to create that which we need. Because right now, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's sort of like a roller coaster. There's an ebb and a flow, and some days I feel expansive, and then some days I feel like exhausted. And for me, I feel like that's because it's there's all of this energy, and more people are waking up to the truth within themselves, and so it's creating this really exciting energy on the planet where, for the first time, I think, in this particular way, we are learning about how to go within, probably because we have no choice, and that is creating this beautiful kind of electric energy. And so we really have an opportunity here to take care of ourselves and to be completely selfish when we need to, so that we can be there and we can be the light and the support and the strength for not only ourselves and our own ascension, but for the people around us. So I'd like to start with talking about the heart. And I don't know if you are familiar with this text, but this is the, I know it's backwards, but this is the Upanishads. And my favorite translation of this is Eknath Iswaran, and I'll type that in the chat box now. Eknath Iswaran. And by the way, these videos will be available to you as long as you have the link. You can go back and do this practice later. So the Upanishads in the history of yogic texts is considered to be one of the most prominent, and it is what was continued in and followed by the Vedas. So the Vedas were the first texts that came out. Yoga was originally an audio or an oral tradition, and families would write their information down on palm leaves. And the Vedas and the 4 books of knowledge, that's what Veda means, knowledge or science, was imparted through stories that were kept alive by the families. And nature was God in those times. And there was a lot of ritual and a lot of being really immersed in the natural world and understanding our place within that. The Upanishads, which literally means to sit down near, was when we were looking for our connection with the divine. And so we started contemplating what that meant. And the Upanishads is a word that means to sit down near, and it refers to the teacher and the student sitting next to each other, telling these sacred stories through mantra, through song, through those sacred sound vibrations, and in Sanskrit, which, as you know, has a lot of power to it. And there's the 16 mouth positions in Sanskrit, and so it is how we tune ourselves and attune and invoke the teachings of union. So the Upanishads marked the time where we moved out of the forests and out of the dirt and into more of the scholarly discussions of yoga. And at that time, yoga and its science was only available to the rich upper castes called Brahmins and men mostly. But the Upanishads were considered like ecstatic poetry. So it was not written, it was received. So that's what these Upanishads are, and it is a contemplation of how the self finds their divinity through themselves and through these practices of yoga, which are really just the practices and the teachings of life. So because we're all right now going inside and we're contemplating the true nature of ourselves. When we listen to our hearts and we kind of block out the noise and we focus our energy and our attention on our heart and on the spaces between the breath, and we can use these practice tools to bring ourselves back into balance, then we can listen to the teachings of our soul, and we can remind ourselves that in this moment we are safe, and this moment is the only thing that we're guaranteed. And though we don't know anything and everything is uncertain, that's okay. We can just go deep within ourselves and listen to our heart and be reminded that we're safe and that we are unlimited beings. So I'd like to read a passage from the Chandogya Upanishad, which talks about the nature of the self being that of the heart, and that the self is contained within the heart. And the heart energy center or heart chakra is the Anahata chakra, which is a word that means unstruck or unhurt, which basically means that no matter what happens to us, the true nature of our self, our soul, our divinity can never be diminished. Our soul, our spirit is an eternal, unchanging, pure consciousness being that can never be diminished and can never be taken away from, no matter what happens. Okay. So this is the Chandogya Upanishad. The self who can be realized by the pure in heart, who is life, light, truth, space, who gives rise to all works, all desires, all odors, all tastes, who is beyond words, who is joy abiding. This is the self dwelling in my heart. Smaller than a grain of rice, smaller than a grain of barley, smaller than a mustard seed, smaller than a grain of millet, smaller even than the kernel of a grain of millet is the self. This is the self dwelling in my heart, greater than the earth, greater than the sky, greater than all the worlds. This is the self who gives rise to all works, all desires, all odors, all tastes, who pervades the universe, who is beyond words, who is joy abiding, who is ever present in my heart, is Brahman indeed. The soul, the self, in this book it says to him, but I want to say us. I shall attain when my ego dies. And so the ego, if we remember what the ego represents, the ego is just our human need to compartmentalize and to understand ourselves as separate individuals. Because if we didn't have the ego and we didn't have that sense of in your home on YouTube and I'm over here in my home on YouTube, then we wouldn't be able to learn from one another, because we would understand that we're all one. So there would be no separation, and that's a beautiful thing, but then we wouldn't be able to have this life experience. So the ego helps us to abide in these bodies, and through one another and through our life experiences together, to remember what it means to abide in the heart. And we return to that self. And when we breathe together and when we move together and when we meditate together, we remember that we are that self within the heart. That is the space within. If you think about the nesting dolls, the biggest outside nesting doll is our physical body, our bones and our muscles and our skin. And then as you go in smaller, that's the self, where there's just that space, the space between. And in that space is infinity. So it's beyond time and space, it's beyond boundary, it's beyond container. And it's so important for us to use these practices to touch that now so that we can find peace, I think. So I'll read that again at the end of practice. So let's go ahead and take a comfortable seat, and we'll begin a pranayama practice. And you can sit or you can lie down. And seat just means taking that sacred space of the teacher. And so both you and I are guiding this class, and you're a yoga teacher as well. So we're taking the seat of the teacher together. And that's what asana means, the seat upon which the yogi meditates. So it could be lying down or it could be in a seat. You might roll your neck. You might relax your jaw. Feel free to clear your throat. Let's take a few clearing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, imagine on your inhale, gathering everything that you would like to release from the night before. And let it out as you exhale. Everything that is not ours, all the collective fears and anxieties and questions. On your next exhale, let it out, this time with your tongue out. And then allow your breath to be full and easy and deep. And as you breathe, let's begin with a check-in. First, let's notice the physical body. Notice areas of need or of tension in the physical body. And start to scan your body from the feet all the way up to the top of the head. And see if you can notice, as you scan with your internal awareness, any spot in the body that needs some love. Any spot in the body, any place in the body that is speaking to you. So we already got the message of shoulder openers and hip openers, but what else? What other needs do you have within the body? And we'll use this information as we go through the practice, because this is your practice and you'll take what works for you. And then continuing your breath, start to notice the more subtle energy of the body. See if you can locate where energy is residing and how it's moving. If it feels a little bit more thick and stagnant and heavy in some places, or if it feels more movement-oriented and effervescent and sparkly or even sharp. So scanning your subtle body from the feet all the way up past the crown of the head, see what you notice. And now let's move to the feelings and emotions. Let's notice what has come up for you today. What are you feeling? And this information is really important because these are messages from your soul. And we receive these messages in the heart, not in the mind. So we feel it rather than think it or know it. What are you feeling? Honestly and truly and completely, what are you feeling? Every day is different. Every moment is different. And as empathic beings, we're highly affected by the collective. So let's see if we can notice what of the feelings we're experiencing are ours or what has been given to us, what we've been programmed with. How can we sift through what is true for us? And the answer to that is just to simply listen to the heart. Now let's move to the quality of the mind. Being completely honest with yourself, practicing loving observation of your judgment. Notice what's going on in the mind. It's really important that we do not bypass any of our thoughts or feelings that might be considered negative. Because acknowledging these, we can step into the whole beautiful, full spectrum, infinite nature of ourselves, which includes shadow and light. And shadow doesn't mean dark or evil, it just simply means that we have been so far either unaware or unwilling to shine the light and to really delve into these parts of ourselves. And so it's time now. It's time for us to fully embody the truth of who we are. And the truth of who we are includes who we were and what we've been through and what we've experienced, how we're programmed. So let's use this practice, if you'd like, to really delve deep into our true nature as a complete divine being. If you'd like now, take a moment to allow your intention for practice to come up. You might ask your soul, what do I need to know right now? Take a deep breath. Whatever you received, just allow that to be present for your practice today. And we'll begin by attuning ourselves to that vibrational location of peace. Shanti Loka, the place of peace. And we do that with 3 rounds of Om, followed by 3 rounds of Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So with this vibration, we tune to one another. We tune to this practice. We tune into the peace that we are beyond these bodies and this separation. We are connected. We are all one. Let's take a deep breath in. May we embody peace of body, mind, and spirit. That peace and love that I am recognizes that same peace and love within you. We are connected. We are one. I bow. Namaste. Namaste, Tani. Okay, let's come into our physical practice. Let's just take the first few minutes to stretch however you want. My leg is asleep from sitting there. So let's take a moment to stretch out. And we'll begin our practice in a seat. So take the first couple minutes to stretch however you like. And I'm just turning on my clock here. And if you want to say anything, just type it in the chat because I can see that you've written something, and I'll just have to walk up a little closer just to see it. And so let your breath become full and deep and even if you can. And then let's come back when you're ready to a seat and let your right leg come in front or on top. And when I'm facing the camera, I'll be like a mirror to you. So I'll be on the same side as you. So if you'd like, you can stretch one or both legs out, or you could cross your right leg in front or on top, and we'll do both. You might, if you want to sit on a prop, you could certainly do that. If you have a blanket or a block, feel free to make yourself comfortable. Let's bring the fingertips close to the chest and just start to create some circles up, down, and around, just starting to open up through the shoulders, getting them lubricated, and then maybe you start to circle through your elbows, and then taking that goddess stance, start to roll through your wrists, and then let's let the circles be big, up, down, around. Inhaling. Exhaling, and one more time. Reach up, hold your arms in the air, and then exhale, twist to your right. Let your right hand come behind you. Let your left hand press onto the thigh to lift the chest. And feel free to turn through your neck. You can circle. Release your jaw. Using your breath throughout the practice to either contain your energy and to keep focus, which is to breathe through the nose. If you want to exhale through the mouth, you can let go of anything that you want to move out and away. Heat, energy, whatever. And then let's return, reach up and inhale. And then lateral flexion, exhale, bring your right hand down, left arm up and over and through the center. Just side to side with your breath. And see if you can stay connected on each side of your pelvis. I just had a little burst of gratitude for technology so that we could be together practicing this morning. And let's rise up and inhale. Palms touch. As you exhale, pull the elbows down and draw the chest forward. Inhale, reach your arms out, clasp your fingers and do a little pointer finger extension. Inhale, open up, elbows back, chest out. Exhale, stretch forward, Kali Mudra, a little water gun. Inhale, open up. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, back bend. And then exhale and round. Inhale, let's rise up. Reach the hands in the air and then sweep the arms out and relax. Let's switch the legs. You can bring your other leg out, or you can take the left leg in front or on top. And then let's reach the arms up. Once again, bend the elbows. Let's circle through the shoulders. Your arms can be bent or your arms can be straight as you circle. Maybe you circle through the elbows as well. Taking some deep breaths. Keep circling. I think my room is a little dark. There we go. I can see better now. Okay, then let's reach up and inhale. Exhale, twist to your left. Your left hand can come behind you. Feel free to take your right hand onto the top of the thigh to lift your chest up, or you can add extra twist here, but make sure the core is engaged. And if it's all right for your neck, feel free to move through the neck and roll the head toward each shoulder. Feel free to keep your neck stable and turn side to side. And then let's reach up and inhale, and then side stretching, lateral flexion as you exhale, and try to stay connected with the sitting bones on each side. Deep, full breaths. And let's rise up and inhale and reach the sky. And exhale. Bring the hands down. Now let's move to table. So you can take a blanket under your knees if you want to. As you take your blanket underneath your knees, we can come to table. Let the hands spread out wide. Let the index fingers be parallel to one another. Soften through the belly and broad up through the chest as you inhale, heart forward, and exhale and round the spine. Continue on your own, extension, inhaling, and flexion, exhaling. Come to center. Let's stretch the wrists. So turn your fingers towards your knees, and you can walk your knees closer if you'd like. You can do one at a time, or you can flip the hands at the same time. And feel free to do some cat-cow here. And then flip the hands around, roll the wrists. And we'll come into downward facing dog, tucking the toes, lift the hips up and back. You can start with a generous bend in the knees to stretch out the arms and the shoulders and the neck. Push the hands down and forward to get even more of a stretch in the shoulders. Then when you feel ready, feel free to walk the legs back as much as you'd like, maybe pedaling through the feet, bending one knee, and then the other. Deep breaths. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Let's take the right leg up and back, inhaling. As you exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Let's move through the hip joint, in, out, and around. If you'd like, you can bring the left knee down to come to table, or you could stay in downward facing dog. Or if you'd like, you could come forward to plank and circle it back and around. So anything goes for your body, just some free movements. Feel free to let it be a kick. And then let's step the right foot through all the way between the hands. Ground the back knee down, but put the weight in the back foot instead. Let's walk the hands up onto the front thigh and really work the back foot so that there's no weight in the knee. Let's take 2 more full breaths here, hands on the thigh, or you can raise the arms up. Take 1 more breath in. And then as you exhale, bend the elbows. Sweep the hands behind you, clasp your fingers. Lift the heart and inhale, knuckles toward the back knee. And as you exhale, tuck the back toes. Keep your arms moving behind you. Lift up into a lunge. Let your chest rest on your thigh. Keep drawing the hands above you. Take another full breath in. And then as you exhale, release your hands. Let's keep the left hand down, drop into the hips a little bit. Take your right arm high, revolve low lunge. Circle around through the arm or reach and pull. And bring the hands down and let's step back to plank, or you can do one-legged plank. Knees down is fine. Press yourself slightly forward and lower to your belly through chaturanga. Press down into the tops of the feet. Let's inhale to Bhujangasana, so very little work in the hands for the first lift as you inhale. And exhale and soften. Hands slide back just a little bit. Lift up a little higher as you inhale. And exhale to soften. Now maybe upward facing dog if your spine is ready. Lifting up out of the thighs. Use the fingertips, use the thumbs. And exhale as you lift up and back, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Let's raise the left leg. Feel free to move around through your hip, through your ankle. In table, right knee can be on the ground, or downward facing dog, or maybe you move in and out of plank. Any free movement, if you have something that you want to prop your leg on, you can certainly do that. Just have some fun. Or you can rest and drink water anytime you want. Now let's step into a lunge. Step your left foot all the way through between the hands and bring the back knee down. And you can have the back toes tucked or your back foot flat, whatever you like. Walk the hands up onto the front thigh for a couple of breaths. Let's take one more breath and then raise the arms up. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, bend the elbows. Sweep your hands behind you, clasp your fingers. Stretch the knuckles down toward the back knee as you inhale. And as you exhale, bring your chest forward. Tuck your right toes under. Lift your right knee off the ground. Feel free to support your belly and your chest with your front thigh. Maybe even drop the gaze back behind you. Take 2 more breaths. And then bring the hands down. Step back to an optional plank pose. You can bring the knees down, or you could do even one-legged plank. Now press forward on your toes, drawing your body over your wrists and lower through chaturanga. This time, maybe you come into upward facing dog if you want to. Let's take one more full breath. Exhale up and back, downward facing dog. 4 more breaths here. Maybe you yawn. 3 more. 2. 1. Inhaling, soften the knees, look forward. And exhale, step or jump to the top of your mat. Take a flat back and inhale. Walk your hands up to your thighs for this first one. Draw your body weight forward and exhale, fold forward and down. Roll around the shoulders while you're down there. Now lift up to a flat back again. Bring your chest parallel to the floor, so kind of high up. Reach back and clasp your fingers. Let your right thumb come on top and come into yoga mudra, shoulder stretch, letting the head drop. You're welcome to use a kitchen towel or a sock or a tie or a strap if you have it. Feel free to turn through your neck here. If you want, you can bend one knee and then the other, dipping your arms to one side and then the other. Now release, bend the knees, raise the arms, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your left forearm on your thigh and take your right arm up. Both thighs, your left forearm on both thighs. Inhale, come up. Exhale, right forearm across both thighs as your left arm rises. Inhale to your chair. Exhale, left forearm across both thighs. Push down and reach your right arm high. Inhale to center. Exhale, right forearm across both thighs. Left arm rises. Now let's rise up and inhale. Exhale, fold forward, dive down. Inhale, look forward, half lift, fingers on the floor if you can. Keeping your weight above your wrist, exhale, step to plank, or you can jump into bent elbows. Press forward and lower down if you haven't yet. Exhaling. Inhale through your back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take one breath here. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. And exhale, step or jump to your gaze point. Half lift, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Fold forward and down as you exhale. Uttanasana. Bend the knees and raise the arms. Utkatasana, inhale. As you exhale, sweep the hands behind you, clasp your left thumb on top and fold in. Your feet can be separated as much as you want here. Feel free to play. You can bend one knee and then the other. Deep breaths. Come back to your chair. Bend the knees, raise the arms. Utkatasana, inhale. As you exhale, fold forward and down. Straighten the legs. Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, look forward. Exhale, step to plank or jump into bent elbows. Lower through an optional push-up. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale for your back bend. Cobra upward facing dog. Really use Mula Bandha to pull the pelvic floor in. Exhale up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your right leg high. Exhale, step forward. Warrior one, ground the back heel down at a slight angle. Hips face forward as you rise. Inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend the elbows. Drop the hands back. Sweep the arms forward and unplug the back heel. Warrior three, step up. Inhale. Exhale, pull the elbows and the knees in. Make a little seed. Inhale, stretch out. Warrior three. Exhale, pull knees and elbows in. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, sit down a little bit. Pull the knees and elbows in. And inhale, stretch out. Exhale to crescent lunge. So feet are in separate lanes. The back heel is lifted. Take an inhale and pause, arms up. Exhale, bring the left forearm on the right thigh and take the right arm up for your twist. If you want to, you can bring the palms to touch and start to give yourself some more space. You might be able to lift the back thigh up a little bit and bring your palms together as that left elbow comes outside the front thigh. If this does not feel good, there's another option. You can put your left hand on the floor and your right arm high like we did before for our revolved low lunge. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bring your hands down inside your front foot. Spin the back heel down. Walk to your left. Left, 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 left. Frame your left foot. Back heel down. Warrior one. At the back of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, elbows bend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, elbows bend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, elbows bend. Stay there. Inhale, sweep the arms back, chest goes forward. Unplug the back heel. Inhale, step up. Warrior three. Balance. As you exhale, bend the left knee, sit into a squat. Pull the elbows and the knees in. Straighten both legs. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, stretch out long. Warrior three. Last one. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, warrior three. Arms go behind you. Exhale, step back to crescent warrior. Your feet are in separate lanes. Back heel is lifted. Raise your arms and inhale. As you exhale first, put your hands on the ground. Slide your right foot back a little bit. Bend your front knee and take your left arm high for revolve low lunge. Maybe you roll your wrist. Maybe you circle through the arm. Deep breaths. Okay, when you're ready, lift the back thigh up. We're coming back up into our lunge. Crescent lunge, so the back heel is lifted. Inhale. As you exhale, let's bring the right forearm on the left thigh and take the left arm straight up. You could stay there, or you could press the palms together, give yourself some more space, or maybe you bring the elbow outside the front thigh. Now, can you lengthen the side of your waist, drawing your body away from the armpit to the hip? Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, hands come down. Let's step back through an optional vinyasa. Knees, toes, or one-legged plank through chaturanga. Exhaling. Inhale through your back bend. Engage the pelvic floor. Take the work out of the low back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. 4 more breaths. Three. 2, and 1. Walk the feet closer to each other. Raise your right leg as you inhale. As you exhale, bring your right knee forward, step your right foot forward. Ground the back heel down. Warrior 2. Okay, so your right foot is forward, you're in Warrior 2. Let's stand up out of both of your legs, engaging both legs equally, fly the arms, preparing for Trikonasana. So you're not only pushing down into the feet, you are hugging the legs closer to each other as you reach forward and inhale. Keep trying to drag your right heel back. Keep engaging your left leg. Bring your right hand down and left arm high. If you'd like, you can come down a little bit more, but only go so far as you're using both of your legs. And breathe. See if you can bring the right side of your waist up to meet the left. You take one more breath. Bend into the front knee as you inhale, Warrior 2. Reach forward. Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. Bring your right forearm on your right thigh. Reach your left arm over. Now let's bend the left elbow. Inhale, stretch it out long. Exhale, bend. Inhale, stretch out long. And exhale, bend. Now take your left arm in a half bind around behind you. If you would like, you can bring your right hand outside your right foot. Now, if you can keep the half bind, keep it. If you want to bring your left hand onto your hip instead, do that. We're coming into Ardha Chandrasana, so look down to the floor towards your right foot and start to heel toe your left foot closer. Then step up and bring your right hand out to a diagonal from the pinky toe. Try to keep your half bind if you have it, and raise your left arm. Now, push down into your right big toe and start to lean your chest back. Can you look up toward the ceiling? Notice the power and lift that you can get from putting all of your effort into that left foot. Pull the toes towards your face. So both legs are stretching out, and you can feel the energy moving into the center from both of your feet. Then looking down, bend your right knee just a little bit. Bring your right hand onto your heart to help you step back. Release your bind. Maybe lengthen your stance, reverse your Warrior Viparita Virabhajasana. Bend your right elbow, stretch it back. Bend, stretch it back. Go a little deeper, bend, stretch it back, and then do a big cartwheel. This time, bring your hands into the middle of the mat and turn the pinky toe edges of both feet parallel to the short sides of the mat. So we're in a long, wide-legged stance. Make sure your feet are in the same plane. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold in, Prasarita Padottanasana. If you like doing your tripod headstand here, go for it. We'll take 5 full, deep, long, slow breaths. Try to put equal weight in both of your feet if your feet are still down. Feel the connection of pushing into your feet and squeezing them toward each other to lift your hips higher. There's some weight in your toes as well. Two more breaths. Okay, Tani, start to drop your feet and then walk your hands forward. And let's come up onto the tips of the fingers, lifting the chest. Scoot the tail a little bit, feel the core engage. Now start to walk to your left. Let's turn the left foot out and find Virabhajasana 2 on your left foot. Inhale, straighten both legs, stay upright. Engage both legs and fly the arms and start to inhale. Resist your reaching forward through the left hand by engaging the right glutes. Keep that. And then bring the left hand down and the right arm high for Trikonasana. Remember that your right leg is moving behind you while you're pushing down through your left big toe mat. If you'd like, you can move around through that top arm. Try to bring the left side body up to meet the right. So really engage the left side abdominals, the obliques, and pull them up. You can feel the front ribs drawing closer to each other, and your neck is long. Gaze anywhere. On your inhale, let's find warrior two. As you exhale, extended side angle. Reach forward through the left arm. Left forearm on the front thigh. Take the right arm up and over. Take an inhale as you extend. Exhale, bend the elbow. Inhale, reach it out long. Exhale and bend. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. One more inhale, reach out, and exhale into a half bind. Wrap your right arm around behind your back. I like to take my hands together to pull my hand over to the hip crease. Now you can keep that, or if you want to, we're starting to come into our Chandrasana with that half bind. So let's start to heel toe your right foot closer. Bring your left hand to the floor outside your left foot. Maybe feel a nice press between the left thigh and the left side body. Then start to walk your left hand out to a diagonal, step up and raise your right leg high. Push down through your left big toe mound. Draw the right toes towards your face. Start to open up through the chest, lean your heart back. You can look anywhere. Notice how you can draw power and strength. You draw strength out through the legs, and then you pull power in through the bottoms of the feet, and it goes right into the core. Then let the weight of your right leg help you look down and lift your left hand up, step back carefully, warrior two. Release, scoot the right foot back more for reverse warrior. Inhale as you stretch. Exhale, bend the left elbow. Inhale as you stretch. Exhale, bend, sit lower. One more inhale, reach the arm out. Exhale, bend, cartwheel the hands down inside your front foot. Once again, turn the toes so that you're in a wide-legged stance. Now let's turn the heels in and toes out. Bend the knees. Raise the arms up for your Pranamalasana Goddess squat. Roll through your wrists. Sit a little lower, and let's do some hovering squats here. So little teeny movements down and up. Working in equally both legs. Try to squeeze all of the glutes. Each time you lift a little. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Bring your hands to your thighs. Sit a little lower. Dip your left shoulder down. And then your right. So just side to side. Try to keep the knees right over the ankles. Knees in the same direction as the toes. Come back to center. Let's bring the fingertips to the ground. Turn your heels out and your toes in. Walk your feet back. We're coming into Mandukasana, the frog pose. So go ahead and bring your knees down. And first, take your knees wide. Come into a wide knee, child's pose, and rest for a few breaths. Or if you'd like to grab some water, you're welcome to do that. Starting to pull your breath and your awareness into that heart center. Okay, when you're ready, let's rise. Let's prepare ourselves for Mandukasana by taking the mat and folding it lengthwise so that it is double thick and long. Now, if you don't want that pressure on your knees, you can come up to a couch or to the wall, and you can lay on your back. You can take your feet out wide, and your heels can just rest on the wall so that your inner groins are getting a nice big stretch, but that there's no pressure on your knees whatsoever. And you might even massage the inner thighs, the inner groin. Feel free to stay there, Or if you want to, if you'd like to come into the frog with your mat doubly folded to have adequate padding on the knees, take the knees wide and the feet go directly behind the knees. And you can sit back and down. Deep breaths. Take 3 more breaths, sitting the hips back as much as you can. One more breath. Now lean forward just a little bit. Let's bring the feet closer to each other. Walk up onto your hands. Bring the knees in so knees completely touch and come into child's pose with your knees together. 5 breaths here. Okay, let's slowly rise. And if you have your mat folded, let's unfold the mat. Let's come into a seat. We're going to start to work into some deep hip openers from here. I mean, frog pose is a deep hip opener as well. Completely. So let's come into a seat with the legs extended. And I'm going to face you so that I can mirror and so you can see what's going on. So let's take the right foot up. And first, let's do Vinyasa, which is a twist, but let's focus instead on the hugging the leg in toward the midline. Okay? So take both hands onto your right shin and let that help you to sit up really, really tall. Okay? Now, first, we're going to come into a twist to the right. So let's wrap the left arm on the front of the shin, pick your body up and spin it around and take your right arm behind you. Now, instead of focusing on the rotation, see how tightly you can hug the right leg in towards your body. Give it a squeeze. Now, as much as you can, brace your leg and send your energy down through your right hip point toward the floor. Now, let that anchoring of the right pelvic point down to the floor send the crown of the head up. Then, if you can, let's wrap the right arm around in a half bind. And as you inhale, release. As you exhale, bring your right knee out to the side. Okay, so your right knee is an external rotation toward the floor. Left leg is straight on. Take your glutes behind you on each side and frame your left foot with both hands. Sit up super tall, lift your chest. Start to lean forward. Take your right hand to the outside of the left leg as far toward the foot as you can and use your left hand to anchor down through the pelvis. Pull your belly back, scoop your tail under a little bit, and then push into the left hand to help you twist. But the pelvis is anchored. The belly is drawing up and in towards your ribs. And see if you can reach the right side body even longer. You can look above your left arm, or you might be able to get down a little lower and look underneath the frame of your left arm. Let's take one more breath. And on your inhale, release. Bring your right hand behind you. Press into your right hand. Stand up on your right shin. Lift your hips up. Fly your left arm. Bend and straighten that left arm a few times. And then come on back to your seat. Scoop up your right knee and say thank you. And send it away. Lean back on your hands and bounce through your legs. Let your feet flop. And then come to your seat. Let's take the left knee up, standing on the left knee. Hold the shin with both hands and sit up really tall. Okay, now hold your left shin with your right arm. Pick your body up and start to spin to your left. Put your left hand behind you on the floor for support for now. Now hug your left leg in toward the midline and then send and resist by pushing your leg out into your arm and send your left pelvic point, your left sitting bone down to the floor more. Watch how this helps you sit taller. And then if you like, maintain that with your core as you wrap your left arm around behind you in a half bind. Deep breaths. Feel energy moving up through Mula Bandha. Pelvic floor engages and lifts. Energy draws up toward the ribs and up into the heart and even out to the crown of the head. On your next inhale, release. And as you exhale, let your left knee come out in Janushirasana. Take your glutes out from underneath you on both sides. Now, bring your fingertips toward the floor and your right foot is strong and with the toes standing up like you're stamping it on a wall. Sit up super tall. Push into your right hand by your side. Take your left arm to the outside of the leg as far out as you want to. Now, lower a little bit more. Scoop your tail, draw your belly back. Then reach out for your left arm as much as you can and look behind you to your right above your arm, or you can go a little lower and look under the frame of your right arm. Take deep breaths. Inhale and release and sit up and send your left hand behind you. And as you exhale, push into your left hand like you're standing up into side plank. Lift the hips, fly your right arm, move around through the right arm to get into your shoulder a little bit more. And then let's sit down. Now we're coming to Baddha Konasana, so you're welcome to sit on a blanket if you want to. And the feet together and the knees come apart. And feel free to give your feet a massage for a moment. Remember that you can stop and rest and have some water anytime. Maybe roll through your neck while you're doing this. Now, when you're ready, let's start to hinge at the hips. So for me, when I start to lean forward, I have a prop underneath me, but then that makes my pelvis come into a weird angle. So I'm taking my blanket out from underneath me. Move your glutes out and behind you. And then you can start to walk your hands forward if you would like to, going slow. You might put props underneath your knees, if that feels better. I find that some days I want that and then some days I don't. So be really honest with what is going on today. We're continuing to return to the breath again and again and again. Take 3 more deep breaths. One more breath. Slowly start to walk up. Let's move through a vinyasa. So if you would like to, you can swing your legs around, or you might cross your ankles and roll over your shins. Step back into downward facing dog. Either stay in down dog and circle around through your legs, or move forward with me into plank as you inhale. Exhale on the knees or toes through chaturanga. Inhale through your back bend. And exhale into downward facing dog. Now for Kapotasana, inhale, raise your right leg up. And exhale, bring your right knee to touch your right arm. And then slide it down. Sit your left leg back even more. And you're welcome to stay upright or come down. If you want the shoulder opener version and the twist variation, let's bring your left forearm down and your right hand out by the side. So your left forearm is down, your right leg is an external rotation, and your left leg is behind you. And you can choose to stay right here if you want to, or if it's available, you could slide your left arm under, laying down on it, and you could wrap your right arm around behind you in a half bind to find that front foot, maybe wrapping your fingers around your big toe, or lift your back leg and reach for your left foot with your right hand. And we take deep breaths. Let's take 2 more breaths. Last one. Carefully release the back foot if you have it. Bring your hands onto the floor. Walk yourself up onto your hands if you haven't yet. Press into your palms. Tuck your left toes under. Push into your foot to bring your left knee closer and retuck so that you can bring yourself up into down dog and circle around through your right leg. And if you want to, we'll come into the shoulder opener wild thing. So start to turn your left heel out. Step your right foot back. And now turn both of your feet to the back of your mat and bend both of your knees. Lift up through your hips. You can fly and move through your right arm. Then let's carefully flip over to downward facing dog. Either stay there, or let's move through vinyasa. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale through your back bend, and exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, move forward to plank. Touch your left arm with your left knee, and then slide it down. Slide your right leg back. And you can come onto your hands and stay there. Or you can lie down. If you want to try the twist variation, you turn your right forearm in and you press into your left hand, and you could stay there. Or slide your right arm down so that you're lying on your right arm. Left arm can come around in a half bind behind your back to find that front foot. Or quad stretch, draw the back foot in, reach for your right foot with your left hand, and breathe. Two more full breaths. Last one. As you inhale, release the back foot if you have it. And as you exhale, walk up onto your hands if you haven't yet. Tuck your right toes under, bring it closer and retuck so that you can lift your left leg up and back. And feel free to stay there in a circle or step over to this variation of cut and cross and a wild thing, where you turn both of your feet to the back of the mat and you can move around through your left arm. And when you're ready, come on back over and let's come down onto our back. So we're coming onto the back to take Shavasana, and then we'll move into our pranayama practice and our mantra meditation. Okay, so for your Shavasana, you're welcome to take legs up the couch or legs up the wall. Let's finish our practice by sending the legs over to the left and reaching out through the right arm. And to open up through your shoulder one last time, feel free to try and take cactus arms, but then turn your right hand down. If that's too much internal rotation, then don't do it. One more breath. And let's release it. Send the legs to your right and reach out through your left arm. Cactus your left arm, and then see if you can bring your left hand toward the floor and down. Feel free to gaze any way that you like. Okay, when you're ready, come onto your back. We're coming into Shavasana for 5 minutes. Okay, so it's, I'll tell you when it's time to get up. So go ahead and get as comfortable as you possibly can. Okay, as comfortable as you possibly can. So now we're coming into Shavasana, and you're going to lay on your back, or you can prop your legs up the wall. And I'm coming a little closer to the camera so that I can see. Okay. So coming into Shavasana, get comfortable with a couple of big, deep breaths. Inhaling fully, exhaling fully. Releasing your jaw, relaxing. Slowly beginning to deepen the breath, continuing to abide in rest. Allow your breath to deepen. If you'd like, slowly start to bring some energy into your fingers and your toes. And maybe you roll to your side first. Take some breaths on your side, resting. And if you'd like, begin to find your way into a comfortable seat. Finding your seat, just notice the space of your heart. Perhaps you see a light there. Maybe it's a colored light. Notice as your breath gets deeper that your light brightens and becomes a little bit more diffused. And as you exhale, your light becomes more of a focal point, more condensed. Inhaling the light at your heart expands. And exhaling, it becomes a little bit more condensed. Now see if your light can bring you warmth through your entire body. This is the light of your soul, the pilot light, if you will, of your light body, your infinite self, pure consciousness as your sacred spirit. Allow your breath to be deep and full, letting the inhale roll from the lower chamber of the lungs into the upper chamber of the lungs in that three-part breath. As you exhale, release the chest, the ribs, and the belly as you allow the lungs to relax. And continue to exhale as you draw the navel back toward the spine. Inhaling, let the energy and your breath roll up through the lungs. Imagining your light getting brighter and more diffused. As you exhale, it becomes stronger and more condensed. So every inhale, you are expanding. Every exhale, you're contracting and drawing in. And as you breathe, I'd like to read another passage from the Chandogya Upanishad, which means sacred song. One who meditates upon and realizes the self discovers that everything in the cosmos, energy and space, fire and water, name and form, birth and death, mind and will, word and deed, mantra and meditation all come from the self. The self is one, though it appears to be many. Those who meditate upon the self and realize the self go beyond decay and death, beyond separateness and sorrow. They see the self in everyone and obtain all things. Control the senses and purify the mind. In a pure mind, there is constant awareness of the self. Where there is constant awareness of the self, freedom ends bondage and joy ends sorrow. If you'd like, we'll move now into mantra meditation. And mantra is just using sacred sound vibration to impart our intention, to not only embody that intention, but to send it out into the cosmos. So to prepare for chanting, I like to offer Nadi Shodhana, which is the alternate nostril breath, or the channel purifying breath. So if you'd like to join me with that, let's take the index and middle finger, peace fingers, to the brow center, to the third eye. Relaxing through the right arm, take an inhale through both nostrils. And then close the right nostril with the thumb as you exhale through the left. Inhale up through the left. Close that and exhale through the right. Inhale right. Close and exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. Inhale left. Close and exhale right to finish. You might have to sniffle a little bit. And I'd like to offer the mantra Sita Ram. Sita represents the earth and Shakti. So Shakti, the ever-changing, dynamic nature of all elements present within us. Sita literally means to furrow. So to furrow down into the earth and to hunker down into commitment, union, love, relationship. Sita also represents marriage, and that just represents commitment. So commitment to life itself and to these relationships that we have with one another and to all the ups and downs in this life. Ram is the one who brings pleasure or goodness. And Ram represents pure consciousness and pure being. So pure being and connecting with the self through the heart as a way of connecting with pleasure and goodness. Together, Ram and Sita represent pure consciousness and life. So that which is without form, eternal and unchanging, and that which is always changing. So Purusha and Prakriti, or Shiva and Shakti, the container of the soul, and how we enliven that and live that and experience that through life itself. So the words are literally just Sita Ram. I'll sing it through. Feel free to sing with me whenever you want. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Your turn. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. That self that abides in the heart, the one that we can touch. And the one that's the spaces between the breath that never changes. We are all that. Let's bring it all together by closing with one final. Take a deep breath in. Jaya Sita Ram. Victory to the journey through this life, this body, these elements, and that which is beyond. It reminds us that our soul is goodness, pleasure, and unconditional love. Namaste. Namaste, Tani. Thank you for practicing with me. I'm glad we had a little private yoga session on YouTube this morning. Thank you for registering. Last night, it gave me this sense of ease because I knew that you were coming and that you had committed to it. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming. If you are interested in that book, I typed it in the chat. Just let me know if you can see that. It's got a green cover. I also really like his audiobooks, Eknath Easwaran. He just has a really nice voice, and it's a wonderful way to dive into the sacred texts. So let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to type it in the chat box. And if you are blissed out and you just want to chill, that's fine too. Oh, yeah, it's been a while. Oh. Thank you so much for coming. Tell people about it if you'd like. It's been an interesting transition to try to get people to register and commit. I had some interesting experiences with just putting this on the internet live. Oh my gosh. Okay. So carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. So that's really interesting that you said that exact phrase, because I was doing a meditation with a couple of my friends. Thank you. And part of the meditation was meeting your future self. And you were listening to what your future self was telling you. And my future self actually said, you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Put it down. So let's take it off. Let's put it down. We're doing what we need to do here by connecting more deeply with ourselves. We're doing the work. We can't help everybody and we can't change anything, but we can change ourselves. And that is changing the entire fabric of the universe and these grids of light that are everywhere, because you are a bright light. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Reach out anytime you want. You have all my info. So I hope to see you again soon. Bye.